Hi, everybody, and welcome to Foreverloved Coaching Radio Show. I am Leah Nevers. I am a psychic medium, an intuitive empath, a clairvoyant, clairaudient, and a medical medium, as well as a clairsentient. I am also a transformational and empowerment coach. And welcome to our show today. I am very grateful to be here with my lovely friend, Jason Matthews, who is a compassion strategist, and he is also one of my sponsors. And we are going to take a caller today. So anybody who is interested in asking any questions about toxic masculinity, have any questions about, relationships, Jason is the man to connect with. So thank you so much, Jason, to be here. I also want to thank my amazing friend, Bob Tucker, who is another sponsor of the show. Bob is a body harmonization practitioner, and you can find Bob at creativeharmonicsolutions.com. Sorry, guys, we are having a little bit of technological difficulties right now, so I apologize for our listeners who are watching online. And so, Jason, why don't you take a moment and share a little bit about yourself and about what a compassion strategist is. I know those of you who have listened previously, Jason was on our call a couple of weeks ago with myself and Travis talking about toxic masculinity. And so, Jason, why don't you take a moment and share a little bit about what you do as well as how our listeners can reach you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leah. And thank you for having me back. It's great to be on video as well as be on audio. So I really appreciate that. My name is Jason Matthews, and like Leah said, I am a compassion strategist. What I do is I help men become powerful leaders by showing them how to act with compassion without losing what it means to be a man. And this is a very powerful idea for just about any kind of interaction, whether it be with their spouses, whether it be with business partners, whether it be with friends or anyone else. Being able to be present with the people that you connect with in a way that makes them feel like you are approachable, like you are friendly and you are trustworthy is as important as letting them know that you are capable, you are reliable, and you are powerful. And these are, especially those last three qualities, are qualities that every man wants to really show that they can be, but you can always do too much of that, especially if you aren't doing enough of the friendly, the approachable, and the trustworthy stuff. It makes it very hard for someone to really believe that you are someone that they can count on. And if you want to learn more about this, I can be reached at jason@relatum.com, or you can go to relatum.com/power to be able to schedule a time to speak with me about this and figure out how you can reclaim your power, or how you as a woman can help a man reclaim his power as well.
And can you give one example to our listeners how a woman can help a man reclaim their power?
Absolutely. So when I talk about men reclaiming their power, it's not just something that men do. There are things that women can do to help men act this way. In fact, when women feel like men are more powerful, they're more attracted to that man. And the woman wants to act more trusting, because compassion, which is the trusting part, is a naturally feminine quality, whereas the competence, the power, is a naturally masculine quality. So when a woman can be more open and approachable, when she can let her man know that she trusts him and that she knows that he is going to act in her best interest, and she shows that she is willing to she wants to understand when she can understand that their man is acting in a way that really helps them. Excuse me, I'm just trying to...
No worries. No worries, you're doing fabulous.
Okay, thanks. When a woman is able to convey to her man that she is there to support him, that she wants him to be the one. She wants to be someone who can be in control, someone who can get things done, someone who can really provide, whatever that means. Sometimes men feel more capable of providing in the home rather than outside the home.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfectly fine. But when a woman is able to let her man know, the way that you provide is absolutely wonderful, and I really appreciate that. That's when a man feels most powerful, and that's when he wants to be more powerful, and that's when he wants to really honor the womanhood that is his mate, that is the woman that he is with. He wants to honor that. He wants to be that container even more, so that she can really express herself even more fully, because it excites him. It allows him to be more powerful. It allows him to take stronger action and prove that he is the kind of person that she needs him to be.
That's a beautiful way of putting it. So basically what you're saying is, say, for example, is if a woman can express her, her feelings to the man to her man in a way that shares that she trusts him and she values how he does things. So what if, for example, there's a struggle, they're having a bit of challenge, and say, what's the best way to communicate to a man that, say, a woman is struggling to kind of have that trust? Would it be to come from that place of appreciation of the things that they already do, that they value, and that help make them trust, to kind of encourage more positively what they're doing that they do like? Would that be the good way to come about it? Or would it be to also express how they're feeling, but add on that piece of appreciation to it? What would you say is the best?
That's a really great question. I'm really glad you asked that. So the best way to approach this is if a woman can approach with "help me understand." If there's something that is going wrong and she knows that it can be made right, anything can be made right as long as both people have the desire to work on it. Mm-hmm. And if the woman is saying, "Help me understand what's going on. Where is it you're coming from?" Now what she's doing is she's being open and saying, "I want to understand you." There's no longer the stress of the man having to defend himself, because there's nothing to defend. If a woman goes, "You always, you never," blah blah blah, things like that, it's going to create a lot of problems, because now the woman is acting from an overly competent area, from an overly masculine area. Mm-hmm. Now, don't get me wrong, that women do have masculine qualities, just like men have feminine qualities. Mm-hmm. It's there to complement the other side. So where women are more compassionate, that competence is used to really reinforce the compassion, to be able to provide the trust with purpose, if you will. Mm-hmm. And when a man feels like there is that purpose of that trust, and she is expressing that, and she's like, "Help me understand where you're coming from. What is it that is going on that is making this problem what it is?" Mm-hmm. Because a man's response is, "What do I need to do to fix things?" Mm-hmm. So when a woman just is able to say, "Help me understand," now he's able to express himself so that something can be fixed. He's able to express himself in that competent way because she has allowed him to do so.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes complete sense. So it's coming from that place of kind of curiosity and trying to understand where the behavior is coming from, versus coming from that place of kind of insecurity or trigger. Mm-hmm. And so wanting to kind of come to that place of understanding so that you both can understand and support each other and kind of work through it as a team, versus kind of feeling like you're against each other.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So one example would be, what if, because I'm sure that our listeners will probably have experienced this too, is what if a woman does try to come from that place of wanting to communicate and asking for understanding, but say for whatever reason their partner doesn't quite acknowledge it or isn't able to communicate it clearly to them? What would you suggest would be the next step for that woman to do if, say, her partner isn't, maybe they're just not consciously open to it, they're not able to access that part of themselves, and then the woman feels kind of frustrated because they have asked the questions of trying to understand, but if that gentleman isn't able to kind of access that part of themselves, what would you say is the next step to do to help that man access that part of himself.
So this is where I like to use the term emotional judo, because there's a lot of leverage that can be had. And if a man is being absolutely obstinate and unwilling to meet a woman, meet their mate in that regard, then it's because there's something they're holding on to that is more important than resolving the issue. So now it's important to do some emotion investigating and use emotional leverage to really topple the scale so that what they're hiding is less important than what needs to be solved. And the way you do that is by, it's a 3-step process. You ask what and how, you label why, and you get that's right. And what I mean by that is you want to ask questions that start with what or how. So what is it that is so wrong that you have to act this way? How is it we got to this point? What is it that you want to communicate that is making this that is making this so caustic for us? What is it you want? What is it you want? and then getting the responses, and then as you ask those questions, you're going to get feedback. You're absolutely going to, but it's being able to understand what that feedback means and use it to label why. And the why is usually going to start with it sounds like, it looks like, it seems like, it feels like. Or you sound, you look, you feel. Or you seem. Such as it seems like you're under a lot of stress. That's good. That's a good labeling of why. Or it seems like you are really, it seems like what we're talking about is really bothering you. And labeling things like that so that they can qualify it with a, yeah, that's right, I am. This is why. La, 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 la. And then basically the diary of the mouth starts happening where they are just needing to share that emotion because you cracked through that shield, basically, of them trying to keep themselves protected, really. And you've let them know that you understand, as a woman, you are beginning to understand where they're coming from. So they no longer have to act in that ridiculously toxic masculine way of just needing to prove that they are powerful and that you need to listen to them because they've got all the muscles and all kinds of good stuff, and you are blessed to be in their presence, or some BS like that, whatever it might be, which is totally true. It's just that being able to get through that, through asking those questions, labeling, and getting them that's right. And then once you get to that point, now they are willing to start to meet you halfway because you've proven to them that you understand, or that at least you're willing to understand. And they're willing to understand creates a better dynamic between you and them.
Okay. That is very interesting and also very important because a lot of people have a desire to be heard and understood. And so that bridges the gap and it comes into more of like a we instead of I type of connection. And so you're working as a team instead of two people just at each other trying to just get their needs met, versus it's like, okay, what is best for both of us? How can we navigate and work together versus against each other, which I find a lot of people do, is that they tend to just focus on what about themselves, right? And no one's perfect. Like, I'll admit, I've been that person as a coach myself, I know. And, it's all about that awareness and working on improving it. And so people like Jason is very helpful because then you can kind of see the other side, because when we're in a situation, it can be difficult to kind of see your behavior, right? And so it's really important to take that moment to step in and kind of assess and analyze. And what I like to refer to is, and what Jason alluded to, is like your inner detective. So working through it and kind of investigating what's going on within yourself and why are you behaving this way? What's coming through. And so I absolutely love what Jason is sharing. And so we are going to open the lines for a call. And as I'm just speaking, the universe just presented it. We actually do have a caller named Sue. And so, Sue, thank you so much for being on air with us. I am Leah Nevers. Thank you so much. And this is Jason Matthews, my lovely guest and compassion strategist. And so, how are you doing today, Sue?
I'm doing better than yesterday. Thank you for asking.
Beautiful. I'm glad that you're doing better today. That's a step in the right direction. How is it that we can help you today?
There's two things I'd like to know. One, which path do I follow? With my health issues.
Okay.
Sorry?
May you repeat that? I'm sorry. It was just...
Sorry, it keeps cutting in and out, huh?
Yes. So can you just repeat that? I heard health issues and what else?
That's for me. I'd like to know, like, which way I go, which path do I go down with my health issues? I'm thinking more natural rather than keep up with everything else that's medical. And there's actually 3 questions I need to know. Probably the most important is...
Okay, so you're looking for more of a psychic connection.
Yes, please.
Okay. So as we have to say, because we are on air, and I do say to all my regular private clients, is that I have to, for liability reasons, I'm not a medical doctor, so I can intuitively share what I'm getting. And also Jason is an astrologer as well. So if Jason has anything, we will definitely tap into that as well. So let me just take a moment and tap into your energy here, Sue. And we only have a few minutes, so I will try to get to as much as I can. And if not, then you can reach me at leahnevers@foreverlovedcoaching.com. And then we will see what we get from here. So you're just wanting to know more about specifically which direction to go health-wise, correct? Just to make sure I hear you.
More probably important, should I put my son on my mortgage?
I'm sorry, may you repeat that?
My son, who's recently broken up with his partner, I'm looking at putting him on my mortgage so he's got security too. And I'd like to know whether that's the right option.
Okay, so instantly I got a no from Spirit. So Spirit is saying instantly no. Then there's a bit of a hesitation. So can you give me his first name?
His name's Scott.
Scott, okay. Instantly Spirit's still saying no way. I'm getting an absolute no way. You have to honor your free will as always. But what I am getting is a definite no. And why I'm getting that is I feel like what's coming through is there's a responsibility factor that I feel he needs to grow into. And so what Spirit's saying is like, it's interesting because what I'm getting is I feel he's relatively responsible in certain areas of his life, but what I'm getting pulled to is kind of in the financial realm of things. I get that there is a bit of growing that needs to take place. And I feel what's going to happen is that it's going to create a little bit of a stress and a burden for you too and your connection. So it feels better if you were to choose not to, but at the end of the day, in any reading, you have to listen to what your free will is saying. But from a spiritual standpoint, at this point, I'm getting pulled towards a no. The only way that I would feel intuitively inclined to say yes to it would be is if you could sit down and devise like a really solid agreement with him, then I feel like that would be an okay way to go, but Spirit says you need to have like all the ducks in a line if you are going to have him on the mortgage.
That's what we had planned to do.
Okay.
Have it, like my other children have said, yes, that's okay, Mum. But I'd like it all drawn up legally so that nothing can go astray when the old girl carks it.
Okay.
Meaning that.
Okay. So in that regard, I get more of a positive energy around it, but you need to be it. So if you're going to go that route, then that definitely feels the best way to do it. And you already kind of know. So you just needed confirmation about this. So in that regard, I would definitely, if that feels right for you, then I would go the way, but definitely draw it up legally. Get everything very, very clear. Get very clear on absolutely everything so that there is nothing that could be miscommunicated whatsoever. So I feel
Hold on, honey.
Can you repeat that?
Are you there, Sue?
Yes, I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay.
Hi, Jason.
So
Hello.
did you have anything to add, Jason?
Hello, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you. As far, do you mind if I answer the other half of that question, because I do have a bit of a sense of the other questions that you had asked. You had asked about your health and whether you should focus more on natural or more on what the doctors say, correct?
Yes, and I was going to answer that too. So thank you for bringing that up.
Right. So my first instinct would always be to go more natural. But make sure that you do that in a way that honors you, because you have to make sure that you are listening to your body as well as listening to whatever health practitioner that you go to. Now, bear in mind that when you do go for more natural health, there always is some sort of risk, regardless of what kind of path you take. And understanding the risks are really important. So making sure that you find someone who is a doctor of natural medicine or a doctor of homeopathy. Those would be the ideal. If you want to see an acupuncturist, that's also another really good option. And as always, something that I do is my first go-to whenever I feel like I'm starting to become ill is I go for colloidal silver. It is the very first thing that I ever go to. Sovereign silver is an excellent strategy to use, because it helps keep your body more on the basic side, so you can't really get infected by much. So, but always, whatever you choose, make sure that you understand the risks and ramifications of whatever choice that you make. But I would definitely lean towards the natural side, and especially if you have at your disposal someone who is a doctor of natural medicine, doctor of traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncturist, or homeopathic doctor.
And
I have a Chinese wonderful man. Thank you, Jason.
Beautiful.
You're welcome.
Beautiful. And I would definitely agree with what Jason is saying as well, is natural is always better. I will say the difference is what I was intuitively picking up on for you is a combination of both Western medicine and natural holistic. However, like Jason said, if you can find a homeopathic doctor, that would definitely be the best way. If you could find a naturopathic doctor that is also trained in medicine, that was a beautiful way to do it as well, because then they can encompass both. But I do feel for you, what I'm tapping in intuitively is somebody who you need practitioners from your energy that I'm picking up on that are very compassionate and that have a gentleness to them, and someone who is really going to take the time to listen and hear what you're going to say, someone who isn't going to just kind of have you in and out. So someone who's going to spend this time to truly understand you on all levels, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So if you can find a holistic doctor that is very grounded and very open to having that dialogue with you, then I feel like that's going to really help you. And I feel like your Chinese medicine doctor that you mentioned, I really like their energy. So I feel that, you've chosen the right direction. And I feel like this call today is more just confirmation for you of things that you are already aware of. Does myself and Jason say? Go ahead, sorry.
I just said you've made my mind feel so much clearer now, and I know which path I'm going to go. And with my son, there is only one hiccup with that. His ex-partner, I spoke to a lawyer yesterday, and apparently there's a 2-year wait. And if I put Scott on my mortgage, then she could maybe step in and add that to his assets, which is not what I really very help.
Good, my pleasure. And if you want to reach out,
researching.
Yes, definitely. And if you want to reach out further to have a more detailed reading, you can reach me at Leah Nevers at foreverlovecoaching.com, or you can find me at Instagram at Leah Nevers at foreverlovecoaching_ or at foreverloved_coaching. Wow, I can't talk. I don't even remember my social media. So, but feel free to reach out and yes, please do. And so we are unfortunately out of time soon, but definitely please reach out at Leah Nevers at foreverlovecoaching.com if you want further detailed reading. And I also want to take a moment to thank my lovely, lovely guest, Jason Matthews, who's a compassionate strategist and my awesome sponsor. You can find Jason at where, Jason? Do you want to share?
Yep, relatum.com/power, or you can email me at jason@relatum.com, or I'm on Facebook at Relatum, or if you're on Instagram, the real Relatum.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I also want to thank again my lovely sponsor, Bob Tucker, who is a body harmonization practitioner. You can find him at creativeharmonicsolutions.com. And again, thank you everybody for listening in. Thank you again, Jason, for being here and having this lovely conversation. And thank you so much, Sue, for coming on and being a beautiful caller. And we're so grateful that we were able to create some ease for you, and looking forward to connecting with you again. And as always, everybody, my ask of you is to go out there and spread some love and do one thing every single day that you can do for others. So do something compassionate, because we're talking about compassion. Do something loving, compassionate towards others today. And thank you, everybody, so much for being here with Jason and I.